My name's Kofi Smiles. I'm the breakfast presenter here at BBC Radio Humberside, as you can see behind us. And I actually grew up in Withensea, so I'm a bit of an imposter for this page. Don't tell anyone, but hashtag 01964 forever. Growing up as a kid, I was always interested in like radio and like broadcast, because back then, and I'm talking like the late 90s, early 2000s, the majority of access to like new music was coming from the radio. So if you didn't tune into people's shows, you know, you missed out on all the new songs that were coming out that would potentially like be number ones from the CDs and stuff people brought. So I always loved that. Do you know what I mean? Where you have this collective media form which so many people would be tuning into, and like I always used to sort of, you know, listen to a lot of late night shows, all the specialist ones, the drum and bass ones, the hip hop ones, the rock ones, and I'd either like record them on like on a cassette tape, or you know, I try and find ways to get MP3s and put them on a disc and burn them for people at school and stuff. And I kind of liked being able to sort of share new stuff with people and then get other people's opinions on it and get them to be part of the conversation. So there was that, and also me and like a few of my best friends at home, we were obsessed with like the MTV Movie Awards and the MTV Music Video Awards, and they were just really just like, they were just weird, and like they'd take like loads of snippets of the biggest films or TV shows of the day and green screen themselves in and do all these weird sketches and stuff. And I think that was like, I don't know, we always used to sort of try and do our own versions of like Star Wars and like Star Trek and, you know, some of the early comic book stuff at the time and things. So I've just always been interested in like, I guess like media and stuff that I think, you know, I've always been able to get people interested in, I guess, you know, having a conversation and stuff. Like we used to organise like big cinema trips to, you know, all the X-Men films and the Spider-Man films. I'd make sure I get everybody's ticket money, get loads of tickets, and we'd all have a big day out of it. So I've always been quite interested in trying to find a way to sort of bring people together, which I kind of think that that's what, you know, the job does in some way, shape or form. People will tune into the breakfast show to try and figure out what's going on with the news of the day, or what's happening locally, or what's happening around the world, or what's going on in London, and how does that affect us here and stuff. So we give, and you know, people like to listen to the show because it cheers them up. There's a lot of energy and there's some good vibes. The music's pretty good as well. So yeah, hopefully that you can get an answer out of that. I think. So I was at Northumbria. Went to Northam University and I did English Literature and Journalism, and on the course we had a radio module, and we was working in groups. We had to create our own radio station, and we had to put so many shows out over the course of a week, and I really loved that. And I've always thought about getting into radio, but I never really knew how I would do it. And through doing that radio module, me and my friends set up like a online radio station at the uni, and we ran that for about half a year. And then when I stayed on to do my masters, we didn't actually get the funding to be able to keep it going. So I went and joined Newcastle University Student Radio, NSR, and I was doing a radio show for them. And I loved it. It was called Get Familiar, and it was all about the latest new music and the latest news around pop culture, so like films, TV, cinema. And it was just an excuse for me and my mates to go in the studio for 2 to 4 hours, chat about music, have a laugh, and just, you know, mess around, really, have fun. So from there, I didn't really do anything after I graduated. I was always like gathering music and posted about it on my blog, and, you know, chatting to people about it on Twitter and stuff, but never anything substantial until I started doing videos with some friends who I went to university with. We sort of all got together and started doing this YouTube show called Kofi's Kitchen, where I'll take music and pop culture and mix it with vegan food and stuff. So we started doing that, and that did really well, got some traction, and we moved on to doing like a web series, like 5 to 10 episode stuff. So I would write a script, I'd meet with my friends once a week online, and we'd edit and we'd discuss them, edit it down, then we'd film them, and, you know, it was really good, and I got so many good skills out of it, but nothing was quite scratching that itch that I had for radio and stuff, you know, be able to just sit down and, you know, interview artists, like bands, like directors, actors and stuff like that. But then in 2016, the BBC were looking for someone to represent it during its City of Culture year, and I saw this post. In fact, my friend sent me this post saying, "Mate, you've got to go for this." And basically, it was like a job for a year. You'd be the eyes and ears for the BBC, going to as many events as possible for the people that weren't able to experience the City of Culture year. It was a paid thing, and you got to have your own radio show. You got to do stuff online. You got to do stuff with Look North, and all you had to do was convince the panel. You had 60 seconds to convince a panel of 4 judges why you should be the person. So. Being a digital producer, I feel like we have a little bit more time and option to get unique and different stories that we might not necessarily talk about on air or at different times on air during the output. So when I was working on BBC No Filter, the focus of that was to work with people aged 16 to 35 and find the stories that breakfast might be missing or breakfast might not run, and give a voice to the voiceless essentially, or amplify people's voices. People are out there doing different stuff, living different lives, living in different ways, but what they're doing is so normal to them, so ordinary to them, but to other people it would be interesting. Other people might be living similar lives, have very similar experiences, but people aren't reaching out and connecting. And I just love that we had the opportunity to bring people into the studio, or go and meet people, take our cameras down, our microphones down there, and listen to other people tell their stories, and listen to people tell the stories in the way that they wanted to do so. I don't know, we're going through a bit of a shift, a bit of a change at the moment. Here at the BBC, I know the brief for the breakfast show is changing. I'd like to input more of that no filterness at breakfast. Do a lot less news, switch up the music a little bit, and just have a wider spread of topics to talk about. Do you know what I mean? Like, summer's coming up, Love Island's going to be on. Why can't we have a section every day where we break down the highs and lows, the best and worst things of last night's Love Island episode? Because one thing I've noticed, so many different types of people will watch Love Island, and some people might be a bit more secretive about it, some people a little bit more open about it, but why can't we take things like that, which are big talking points for quite a lot of people in certain areas, and give that room and space to breathe? Do you know what I mean? Because it's interesting. We do need to know about what's going on with roadworks and our bin collections and stuff like that, but also let's have a little bit more fun with other bits on the show and stuff. But I'd like to make the brief a little bit more open on the breakfast show and stuff. But me personally with work, at the moment, I guess my main focuses are completing the scripts. I started writing again with some friends, and we've got quite a few script ideas that we've been working on over the past few years. We're sort of completing a few things, trying to get scheduled shooting time in the calendar and start casting for a bit. So that, and also I really, really, really want to host some panels at Comic Cons. So do all the main questioning for, let's say, I don't know, the cast of The Mandalorian or the cast of The Last of Us, or speak to the guys at Activision or Naughty Dog or Rockstar and say, what's going on with Grand Theft Auto 6 and stuff. So I'd love to go to San Diego Comic Con, New York Comic Con, do London Comic Con, Manchester Comic Con, and just meet all the fellow nerds there and interview comic book writers and artists and stuff. That's where my head is at the moment. Within the next 12 months, that's what I want to be doing. I want to make sure I've got some of these gigs booked. I hate networking. I really do, because I'm just oh man, some people are here because some people are at an event because they want to catch up with other industry friends and stuff, and I'd hate to feel like I'm chatting to someone and in their head they're thinking they're just trying to get something out of me, but I guess that's part of the game. Do you know what I mean? I've always, there's a mantra that my mum has sort of passed on to me and my siblings, where it's your lift is your rise. So naturally, because I know how hard it is to get into an industry like this, I'm always wanting to try and help as many people get through to it. And I know, and I totally respect that not a lot of other people have that sort of mindset as well, which is fine. But I don't know, I think that the whole networking and grafting, it's not everyone's got the opportunity to get into the room, and if that's the only way to get forward, I don't really think it's fair. There's so many people out there that are doing amazing stuff, getting the numbers up on like TikTok, doing crazy things with their Instagram accounts, but aren't being given sort of the space or the opportunities to, I guess, let their abilities and talent shine and stuff. But I think it's necessary in some circles, but I think we need to be looking outside these very exclusive like meetups and stuff to see what's the next steps we should be taking, what conversations could we be having, who are the next names that we should be getting in through the doors to be able to give people an opportunity. It's weird because we've had in all the homes. There was the Apple TV war thing, the Steve McQueen Apple TV thing that was filming in town. We've had loads of productions coming through, haven't we? Coming through to Hull and filming. I don't know the ins and outs of it, but I know there's been quite a lot of people doing extra work and having smaller roles within these productions. But what about people who are the crew? Are they hiring? Are they getting people involved who are working in the industry that can, be the grips, be the first, second, third ADs, What about, are they actually hiring camera people that can work on these? I don't know, I hope so. I'd like to think that all these shoots that are happening are involving local people from a creative and from a technical side as well. I'd like to see more of that, and I'd like to see the figures. I'd like to even see like the council or who's ever in charge of allowing the film companies to come in and do the work, to say, yes, by all means, we can shut this area down, you guys can come and film, however, we would like to make sure that you are taking on X amount of people from East Yorkshire, North Lincolnshire to take part in it. Are you getting people from the university? Are you getting people from the colleges like Wilberforce, Hull, do you know what I mean? Ron Deering, you've got a lot of decent engineers, people doing carpentry, all this sort of stuff. There are people that could come and get some wonderful experience. I'd like to see the data on that. I'd like to see something put in place so that there is opportunities for people to get some on their CV, so when they're either if they are going to uni or they want to go straight into industry, they've got something there. I was in Newcastle for about 10 years before I moved back to Hull for a bit, and then I moved to London because I went, and this was in 2016, moved to London for a year to try and get more media experience until the Face of Hull thing came up. I'd like people to not have to move to London, because you move there, you usually stay there, or move to Leeds, move to Manchester. The skills stay out the area, don't they? And there's a lot of talented writers, a lot of talented, photographers, videographers, documentary makers, people with ideas. But where's the platform? Where's the launch point? Where's the funding? Who's investing in these northern stories? And when we're hearing northern stories, they're coming out of Manchester, and I'm not knocking Manchester and stuff, because some of the alternative stuff that we got coming out of there has been really good. And I'm saying I don't want to see the stuff that's coming out of London either. I'm just saying there's people elsewhere that deserve an opportunity and shouldn't have to, risk breaking the bank. And I know people that are getting loans and credit cards in order to try and make projects happen, because the support and stuff isn't there. I think it's cheaper for them to go into debt in certain areas than it is to move to somewhere like London, especially during the time like now, which it's really disheartening, because how many people have to give up on their dreams or for stuff like that, where it's look, there must be a way to share the wealth a little bit, or have an organisation, a group, a steering group or something that can allow filmmakers, storytellers around here to tell the stories, because you guys are creatives. When you've got a story you want to tell, it's so annoying, isn't it? You have to tell it. You've got to get it done. It can affect your mood. It can stress you out. Do you know what I mean? If you haven't contributed towards that creative outlet, towards that story, it can consume you, innit? And it's just and I think unless you've been in that situation before, you don't understand, do you?
No.
Which I think it's it really, really sucks. It really, really sucks, because I know some people that have had to give up on some brilliant ideas
because there's just no.
Because it hasn't been there, and they haven't had the means to move away, or because of family or the work commitments. It's setting up No Filter, and the years that we did that, the people that we had coming in and out the studio, and the conversations that we had, and the videos that we were doing, and just being able to, Martha and I'm a producer, just being able to just pretty much do what you want and just have like weird conversations and like do stuff on Radio Humberside that hadn't been done before, which I thought was quite cool. And it was like, we saw it as like a legacy from 2017, because we thought, well, without this City of Culture, we've been able to engage with so many different communities that we usually wouldn't get involved with us, but they still want to get involved with us through No Filter. And that was class, because people like Earth, they wanted to come and do something with Radio Humberside, they would come and speak to us rather than other shows, which was quite cool. People would look into us to tell their stories or to get involved with us, which I thought was quite nice. And that was the intention as well, making sure that, you know, people within that age bracket, 16 to 35, or who were doing different stuff, alternative things within different subcultures and stuff, they wanted to get in good. We wanted them to get involved with the BBC, and they were doing it like through BBC No Filter. The entire City of Culture year was class, and like we were not just doing like the radio show on a weekend and doing stuff with Look North. We had programs going out on the BBC News channel, which were being shown all over the world, which was like quite cool. I had like friends in Australia like seeing it, and like, you know, people getting in touch with us from all over the world about, you know, oh my god, you know, Hull looks amazing, we're coming, we booked flights and stuff. That was brilliant. And obviously doing the breakfast show, because I'll be honest, I've never ever considered doing breakfast radio, because it's just never really been my thing. I think it's early to start. It's such an early start, it's early days, but anytime I've been interested in radio, it's always been specialist shows or like all these sort of mid-morning, afternoon stuff, which has been a little bit more fun. I've never really sort of thought about being a breakfast presenter, and everyone's like, oh, that's the job, that's the top radio job. But I've always been like, I always thought like the best radio jobs would be doing like a music or like a cultural or topical show of your choice, and pretty much talking about what you want to talk about, talking to who you want to talk about. That's always been what my sort of focus is. But being able to do the breakfast show after being at the BBC for I think I've been with them for like 4 or 5 years. I think, you know, I'm trying to sort of sit in my achievements a little bit more and see them for what they are and stuff. But yeah. I would definitely say get in touch with your local radio stations, BBC or not, and just see what you can do to get involved with. If you can be coming in to make cups of tea, if you can shadow presenters, if you can shadow producers, try and find ways to get in. But in the process, you know, keep doing your shows, keep making show reels, keep coming up with interesting, innovative ideas, and just, you know, trying to find ways to get stories out there and show that you can tell a story, and you can get the best out of it, and you can get the best out of people to tell their story and document it. I don't think we broadcast that enough. I don't think people document what they're doing or share that enough with people out there, because at the end of the day, you as a journalist, you as someone who's going to be helping people tell the stories, you need to show people that it's possible. Because having that sort of portfolio will definitely help. And if you are able to bring stories to stations or tell stories in a certain way and get them out there, TikTok, Instagram, there's, you know, Twitter, there's so many ways to do it. Start a blog, get someone on YouTube, just keep working and just give it time and be patient. I know it sounds really frustrating, but like, you know, you've just got to give it a little bit of time and be patient. Just exhaust every avenue, keep trying and keep building and keep evolving, because I think, you know, in the process you'll build up a big body of work, you'll hone your skills, and more importantly, you find out what you don't want. You find out what you don't want to do, because I did that. I thought I was going to do stuff in film and TV for a long time, and then I was like, I'm not really enjoying this process, and I'm still missing radio bits. And then I was like, you know what, radio's way. I'm just going to make a go for radio and in presenting, and you know, this is where I am today. Keep an eye out on CTK Media. You can find us on Instagram and on YouTube and stuff. We're going to have some cool mockumentaries coming out this year. Kofi's Kitchen's coming back, and we've just been working on a lot of stuff over the past couple of years. So yeah, keep an eye out on our stuff, and if you want any advice from any of us, then, you know, get in touch.